guys, before you watch this video, I know the video is really long. It's just there's a lot of places I do a lot of ranting, and I get a lot of off topic. But I talk about some of the classes that I can as much as like humanly possible. Try to give my honest opinion on them and like a brief summary on them. I made this video in post to kind of warn you that this is probably a very long video. A lot of it's like unfiltered, uncut, and whatever. I'm sorry that there's a lot of opinions I'll have on the game and a lot of classes that people might not agree with. This is how I see it. But yeah, overall, I still hope you like the video. And I'm playing unrelated footage in the background to kind of ease you into it. But good luck if you make it to the end. I commend you. You can follow you can follow me on Twitter, follow me on Twitch. I stream all the time. Follow me on Discord to know when I'm streaming, or not follow me on Discord, but join my Discord to know when I'm streaming. You can see all the links down below. But thank you for taking the time. I'm gonna leave you to it. It's like 3 a.m. Bye. Oh, well, I just refreshed the page, but hey guys, how's it going? Um, you know, Zook here. I'm making a video to go with my tier list thing that I made for my Discord, and I wanted to make a video about it too. I've essentially leveled every class to level 90. To the exception of Dragoon, but I have played it at level 90 a handful of times. So, without further ado, I'll just go down the list with Dragoon, and I would put, and this is like to reflect how I feel about the leveling and but ultimately the placement is going to be how fun it is at level 90, at least in my opinion. So there might be some people that might be upset, sorry to say, but all right, let's just jump right into it. So I'll put Dragoon. Fantastic. This surprised me. This really did. The Dragoon has been my last played class. It's my least played class, and I play it last every single time I level anything since Heaven's Ward. Um, I never had any fun playing this class until this expansion, and it actually really surprised me. I couldn't believe that it just felt so fluid. I feel like the biggest change that it got was getting removal of Blood of the Dragon. That's like an amazing change. Now I don't have to press a fucking button every 30 seconds to do more jump damage. And I could just, I could just go right into the gameplay and play. My one gripe I would have about it is that there's literally like three buttons you press. You press Litany, you press your Blood for Blood, and your eye, and then you press like Life Surge when you get the chance. But yeah, you have a lot of buffs that you give up and you have to give out to everyone, and then you start having fun. But it felt very fluid to play. It felt like every button I was pressing, it felt like it had purpose and meaning, and it felt impactful to play too. And I think that's very important when you play a class, and it felt really fun to do. So Dragoon's a good Dragoon's a good pick. I've played this game for a long time. I've never thought that this would be in this spot, but for me, it's right up there on how I really want to play a melee class and how I can't believe it's still like it stands the test of time. And I think it's only gonna get better. I hope it does. One thing I would change about it is it has 5 gap closers. If you count elusive jump as a gap closer, it has Dragon Fire. It has of two stacks of Spine Shatter, and it has fucking it has 2 stacks of Spine Shatter. Yeah, it has Star Diver. So it's like 5 ways you can approach the target, and that's like why do you need that many gap closers? But we'll be talking about that again once we get into Warrior. So yeah, Dragon's a really good pick. I recommend. So Ninja's really fun leveling through. I had a blast leveling it. I would put it up here for leveling if this was a leveling thing. It's enhanced fire ninjutsu. It does 600 potency with no fall off. So like fall off means that it has like if you look at flare, it'll have like 50% potency. That move has no fall off whatsoever. Like it'll have like let's say it'll have like 600 on flare, and but like 50% is spread out amongst the crowd of mobs. But with ninja, that's not even a thing. Like there's no fall off. It's just 600 flat. So that's like absolutely amazing for trash. I would take this into dungeons, but I'm putting it down here. Um, that's a drastic change. But at level 90, it gets a move called Fleeting Raiju and Fork Lightning, or whatever the fuck it's called. It's like Chidori. And I don't understand that if you press any button on your keyboard when you have Chidori up, you lose your stacks of Chidori. And that's really bad. Um, Another thing, too, I saw footage. I was looking up footage of like Ninja Opener, and apparently they changed it so that Fleeting Raiju, it doesn't like combo into itself anymore. It used to there's like two moves that do Chidori. There's a gap closer, and then there's like a single target. There's like a single target move, and it doesn't combo into each other anymore. You get to pick one or the other. And I think they did that because they want you to give you the choice of a gap closer and this. They both do the same damage. So if they both do the same damage. So it doesn't make sense to me that it doesn't, you know, it doesn't do that. I think it's because I don't know if it took stacks away. Like maybe you cast one and then the other, and that was one stack because you get three stacks. So that would essentially be 6 times you can cast Chidori. That could be a possibility as to why they changed that. I wish they didn't change that because that would have been cooler. A really big, huge problem is that it has this move. It's called like Phantom. I don't even know what it's called. It's like an AOE move that you get with your Bujin. So when you cast your clone, you get a ninjutsu, which is a weapon skill. That it's not an ability. It's a weapon skill. So that's very important. So when you cast it, it does like an AOE. The biggest thing there is that if you cast any other weapon skill, you keep it. But with Fleeting Raiju, if you cast any other weapon skill, you lose it. And that is that's kind of like sorry. That's not that isn't fun. That's just it's just not fun. Um I think the biggest problem is that this could be a fast-paced class, but then as soon as you go Tenchi Jin, like you're standing still. And now you have to like maneuver yourself and not press any buttons so that you can keep your Chidori stacks. And what I don't understand is that I think Fork Lightning and the other one, and like I think Fleeting Raiju, those are weapon skills. They're not abilities. They're weapon skills. And so is the Phantom AoE move. That's a weapon skill too. So why do you lose Chidori but you keep the other one? I don't like inconsistency. That's why I didn't really like Red Mage. I always made fun of it because it has a talent that gave it like 10 potency to their displacement. So you would have to cast displacement if you wanted like full optimal damage. And I thought like having a trait to have one thing to give you more damage, it's the most stupidest thing. And they kept it for 2 years. So if this is in the game for 2 years, I'm not gonna touch this class in level 90 content. I don't like how you're pigeonholed into. I don't like how you're pigeonholed into something. You're just like you're fucked. Like you have to cast this is the only way. Like I can't just cast this in between. It's like no, you're strictly a casting class, and the melee is like second to the casting, 100%. So I hope they fix it. I'm not sure what they can do to fix it. I would like it to combo within itself. It doesn't make sense that I can't hold it. You get 3 charges too, so you don't lose one charge when you use a weapon skill. You lose all three. So if you accidentally fat finger, you're fucked. So I would avoid that class like the plague. I wouldn't play this in high end content. Sorry about that. I wanted to clear my throat and drink some water. So next is Samurai. So Samurai leveling, I put it right here. It's okay. It still does a lot of good damage, a lot of decent damage. Um, Not really much has changed aside from the fact that now it has positionals. It always had positionals, but the positionals didn't do extra damage. It just gave you more Kenki or Kenkai, whatever the hell it's called, which is its gauge that you can spend on. So that's not really, that amazing. But now you have to press True North more, and it matters because it's a potency increase. So that's pretty good. I'd put it right here. Um, I don't really feel like it's anything different from what we're used to with Samurai. It just feels like it's just extra buttons. It's kind of weird that the Fuka, which is its like the cone AOE move, it's now like circle and it's a level 86 skill. Um, it's kind of weird because like the monk one is level 82. And, like, you don't have to wait till level. Well, you do get an AOE skill level 86, but like, it's just weird that like such a basic skill like had to be like that far. But that's just me. I don't think it takes away from it. So, um, yeah, it's not really anything different. I feel like it stays true to the formula. It doesn't really do much that this class has changed. Like this class is it just feels so fluid and motion. This is a lot of good fluid too, but the gameplay I'm not really into the gameplay as a samurai. Like you go in, you fucking dot, and then you get your Madares. Like sure, like you're pressing like a whole bunch of buttons, and then like 2 minutes later you have to press a whole bunch of buttons again. Is it 2 minutes? I think it's 2 minutes. And I'm not really a huge fan of that. So, but it's not a bad pick. Like I would probably play it sometimes. It's pretty cool. Just swing out on your reef stick. But I would play Dragoon a little bit more because I don't know. That's just me. So for our next pick, which is the new class. So for our next job, which is not gonna be really surprising to anyone. This class is meh before level 80. Once you get level 80, it goes up here and it stays there. The one thing I could say that's horrible about it is well, the two things actually. Two things I could say that's really horrible about it is the def mark that you put on it to do 10% more damage. It it's like you have to press an extra button for that, and none of the melees here have that problem where you have to it gets its own button for its damage up. Like it's not in the combo, and that can be kind of annoying because like you kind of want to go. This class can go balls to the wall. Like it's really fucking fast paced. Like you can just like arcane circle, and once everyone does their shit and your thing's up and ready, you could fucking explode, and you just vomit damage. That's another thing too. I was talking to a friend of mine, and they're a pretty good player. They were playing in a raid with their static, and they got like I think they got like a blue parse, and I was like, yeah, that's good, that's great. We're talking about it, and then I noticed that their Reaper, and now I know it's like you can't really compare because they're two different classes, but their Reaper was like a gray parse. It was like 7, but it was top DPS. Like it was just vomiting damage. Um, that's a good class. So if you want to get into raiding, that could be a good class to play. It just vomits damage when you need it to be. It's really low maintenance. You don't really need to think about much things, except for like my second point about what I don't like about it is that if you fat finger a move, when you do your Reaper or your Avatar move or your stand, that's what I want to call it. When you do your stand move, um, you'll get the blue combo. So you get it's like the flank and the rear. If you fat finger any other button that's not those two buttons, you're losing it, and that's like a huge like letdown. So the def mark being on the button, and if you fat finger anything you mess up, I don't like. But the fact that the transformation is just like it's super fast, super quick, does so much damage. It's it's absolutely insane, and it's fun to play. I'm not really a person that looks into damage per se, like, oh, this is top damage meter, that's gonna be fun for me. I don't really look into that, but I can't deny that this class is ridiculous when it comes to just vomiting damage. Like, I can't really describe it, but it's like you're definitely just there's no competition. Like this class being in the game, there's just no competition with other classes. So that's insane to me. That doesn't make it fun for me. It's just like it's just surprising to me. It's just another point. But yeah, the game is really. I mean, the class is really fluid. It's very simple too. It's only like 4 buttons, sometimes 5 when you press def mark. But other than that, it's a good pick. It's a good play. I like it a lot. I wanted to actually take it into raid because I don't really take raiding seriously. I'm very slow. I'm still on like turn 2. I'm on like turn 2 progression. So on what is it, the 4th week now? And I don't really care too much because like you're gonna be in the tier for 6 months, so I'm not really in a rush to complete it anyway. But the bottom line is that I don't really care about that kind of stuff. But if I was serious about raiding, I would play Reaper instead of I play Summoner right now. I would play Reaper because like I know I'm not really the greatest player, but the fact that I could just vomit fucking damage that would be fine. So that goes up there. So for our next pick is Bard. So where does Bard go? I'll put it here. So it's still middle of the ground. I think the changes that it got is really good. I don't like the Apex Arrow combo. It's really good at AoE, but I'm like, I kind of want more songs. You know, level 90 you get Radiant Flare, which is literally Foe's Requiem, so that's awesome. Um, I don't really have a complaint about the building the codas and stuff. I know a lot of people were switching back to Bard because of the whole Bard changes. I think that's the most exciting part about it for me was Foe's Requiem. I would talk about it all the time. It's like, oh, we're back in Foe's Requiem. Here we go. We're gonna buff the party. So it's So it's pretty good. Like I actually really enjoy that. I look forward to pressing that button. There's a lot of buttons I don't look forward to pressing to, even though it's like very impactful. But that's a button I look forward to press all the time. And it getting its buffs, I don't. It's just more of a plus, really. Um, that's really cool. The dots being longer duration is it was kind of disorienting at first because I wasn't really used to it. You can see me if I play Bard on stream, you can see me like mess it up a bunch of times because I do iron draws because I'm so used to the the thing being closer, like being a lesser like countdown. I mean, it was like what 30, I think. So now it's like 45. So it's like it's a longer thing. It's still the same old stuff like I'm gonna press straight shot, like you're just basically trying to proc shit. But I think it's gotten better on it. There's less downtime, but you're still pressing one button. There's nothing really wrong with that. But I want more songs. Like I want like a haste song. I want like a bravery song. Well, we kind of do have a bravery song. It's Froze Requiem, which is Radiant Flare. We do have those songs. So maybe hopefully in the future we'll have more songs that go with it. So I'm really excited for that. Machinist. I'm kind of biased on this one because I played Machinist a lot. So I'm going to put it here. The robot's still amazing. That's probably the best thing. I played a lot of Machinists back in like Heavensward and Stormblood, and it was fucking terrible. Like a lot of people who played it, um, I don't think a lot of people had fun with it anyway, because like I don't think a lot of people were playing it. I certainly didn't have fun when I was playing it, but there was some type of like thing that came over me that I had to play it, and I did enjoy doing the overheat mechanic in Stormblood a bit, but it's kind of sucked because I don't think people have done it, but you had to like overheat your gun with flamethrower. So you would shoot your gun, you walk up to the boss, and you flamethrower for 3 ticks, get to 90, and then you would press your 2 and then reload and dump all your shit, wildfire, everything. You would dump everything into the boss in that 10 seconds, and you would do that every single time your shit was off cooldown. So it was definitely something different. It's kind of like that still. I think they changed wildfire now it's like every shot adds to the potency of it. It's like 150 potency, and you get like 10. You can get like over 10 shots. Um, I don't know if it did this. I'm not really too sure, but in Shadowbringers, I think it counted your ability damage and not just weapon skills. In in Endwalker, now it's just ability. Now it's just like weapon skills. So it doesn't count Goss. It doesn't count Ricochet. And you're obviously going to be pressing Wildfire during overheat because you're getting the bullets out. You want to get as many bullets out as much as humanly possible during Wildfire. But it kind of stinks that now Goss and Ricochet doesn't count. Maybe it's because that would add more to the shot counter, and the overload or the bomb would probably be too high. I remember that was a problem back in the day. The bomb used to crit, and when it crit, it was insane. So they took that ability out of the game that it can't crit anymore. So maybe they could bring it back into the game that it doesn't crit anymore because use it doesn't like add to those abilities. At least that's what it says in the wording. It says it only says weapon skills, and Gaushot and Ricochet are abilities that you press. So maybe they can change it. I would like to see that again, where it can like direct crit, direct hit, and crit. Like just bring that back. That'd be cool. But yeah, I really still have a lot of fun with this. I would put it in fantastic fun, but Not much has changed about it. Too much, really. It's basically the same gameplay as it was in Shadowbringers. Um, I still have a lot of fun playing it. I like pressing the gadgets and everything. I want more gadgets. Maybe we'll get like a gravity gun for AoE. We'll probably get that. But there's like the chainsaw now, so that's really good for AoE. But you're not really AoEing in like high-end content, so it doesn't really matter. It's just thematically it'd be cool. I really personally want like the mech. Like maybe we could like get into the mech and summon the mech, or the mech can be summoned in some way. I don't know. That'd be cool. So this is Dancer. I'm going to put Dancer here. It's alright fun. Again, not too much has changed. Just recently got a buff to its damage. I guess it needed it. I like the fact that these are interchangeable. Let's say like we go a comp with a samurai and a black mage or whatever. Like you have a comp. These are interchangeable. Is what I'm trying to say. Like let's say like you have a dragoon. You have a dragoon samurai, um, red mage, and then you can put like a bard in there, or you can put a dancer in there to buff the samurai. So like you're basically making the samurai the LeBron James of your party. Like they're gonna do that, or the reaper. So you have like these single target high DPS. Like you have these three single target high DPS for these two, and I feel like this shines more a little bit for them. But this is overall for the party. So it's whatever you want to pick. Honestly, I feel like they are interchangeable. It just depends. I know a lot of people prefer to play Bard a little bit more, and I think it's because it does more damage overall. But these classes were never meant to do damage. They were meant to like support the party. Maybe one day we can have some support shit for this, but I think this will be self as DPS. Um, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what they can actually give it. Maybe they could give reassemble to the whole party. Like I'm not sure. That would be kind of weird to coordinate. But I like how these are interchangeable now. Like it's not like oh we're gonna. I don't want to play Bard here because I don't even give my own buffs and I'm not really doing damage. And then this one's like oh I can just do damage now. And I feel like it still can do that. And it's funny how they changed it where when you flourish, you don't get the full set of moves anymore. It's like you get the fountain fall, the enhanced fountain fall, and the reverse fountain fall, whatever the fuck it's called. You can swing a target, but it shares the same with your AOE. So you're not just pressing your single target and AOE anymore during flourish. You're just pressing your single target. So I guess that's a good change. I don't really have too much complaints about it. If you fat finger your single target during AOE, you're kind of fucked, or vice versa. But for me, I have my AOE on the right side, and I have all the buttons I press the most on the left. So it's not gonna help it too much. I think the level 90 skill where it gets the fucking like the daggers of Danak or whatever the fuck it's called, like Doctor Strange shit. The fucking thing where you can direct hit crit on the next on that ability, and it's like every 120 seconds. I don't like that ability. I think it's kind of dumb that there's two moves that you can press every like I don't know like 120 seconds. That does you could do damage a lot now, and I guess it's like a 2 minute window. A lot of classes do have that, but I don't generally like this one. I don't like this one. I like this one's and I like this one's. So I'm not sure. This just feels better to me, if anything. These ones are like, okay, I'm doing it now. Like I don't really feel excited to do it or to press those buttons when it happens. And yeah, I mean it's pretty cool. This in AOE situations and raid is like amazing though. Like it just like it wipes. But when I do Heidelin, I like to stand in between the crystals and then like just like AOE them all. So it's really nice. It goes super quick. So it's pretty cool. But I would put these at the same. They're just interchangeable to me. So when I go into a party, I usually try to fill this slot, the support slot. I usually try to fill this because it depends. Like let's say we have like two melee, and then we have a caster. Excuse me. Then I would go range. I would either go this kind of range, depending, or I would prefer to go this kind of range, but that's just me. All right. So next class, Summoner. So this class will go here. That's the class I'm maining this expansion. I know that people are very upset at the fact that it got rid of the dots and the management. It's basically Frost Mage from World of Warcraft. I've never played Frost Mage. I've never leveled a mage actually in World of Warcraft. Like never. I've never have. I don't think I ever will. But we have Frost Mage in, in Final Fantasy, and it's Summoner, 100%. I just like it. I think it's fun. Um, the aesthetic of the class is really cool. I think the class fantasy is there. It just needs a little bit more tweaking. What I would do to change it is I would make Ifrit actually like all those that line of summons auto attack. I would have them just auto attack. What would be cool too is instead of like you just pressing the enkindle, have it automatically enkindle when it comes out or at the end. So if you forget to press it, though you're always gonna press it, but I would change that. What I really wanted to change about Summoner was Devotion. So Devotion is on your was it was an AOE buff to your party, and does the same thing. It's called Burning Light now. Um, it's still Devotion, yeah. It's like 30 seconds, which is like super long. Um, I wanted that to be on like as soon as you summon Bahamut, you everyone gets that buff. They get like a damage buff as Bahamut's out. And I think that would be pretty cool if they just did that. So it just takes away one extra button. The Carbuncle doesn't even auto attack anymore. That's actually like a huge letdown, but not that bad. I think they were trying to go with I hate to say it, and I know a lot of people don't like me saying it, but I think they were trying to go with the more Final Fantasy XI approach with this class, and I think it works in a lot of aspects. I'm not sure what more summons they can add to the game aside from Fenrir being the ultimate summon in that game. I would like to see a Fenrir summon if we do get one. I would like to see more more gems, more gem summons. I think that would be cool, like Rama, Shiva, um, Ravana, maybe Alexander. Like who knows? I think the potential is limitless with that. You could do whatever the fuck you want with that, and I think that's really cool. The potential is really there. And but yeah, I would change that so that all pets auto attack in some form. Like you don't have to have Ifrit, Titan, Garuda. You don't have to have them for the whole duration. I think it's 15. I think it's 15 or 30 seconds that Phoenix and Bahamut stay out, and they automatically auto attack, which is like the best thing. Like that's one of the best changes. And having the other pets like having like auto attack in some form, like you don't have to make it super high potency. You can make it like 100 potency, or make it like 50 potency. Like make it like a dot or so, whatever. Like I want them to do more. I don't just want it to be summon and you get their their one ability and that's that. I kind of want it to be a little bit more involved with it, but maybe one day. I don't know. Maybe it's like a stretch, but as of where it is now, I'm really happy with the position that it's in, and I'm going to continue to play it. It's really fun to play. Very simple to pick up. Very easy. I feel like it's very easy to master too. And I know a lot of people are very upset that there's no more dots with the summoner class anymore. And I, for one, I am kind of sad that it is gone. But what we got, I feel like what we got and what we can get down the road is probably better. That's probably Copium coming out, and I know a lot of people would be pissed about that comment, but I think right now, as it stands, it's one of the best classes in the game. We want to get to this point in the game where you want class fantasy to be great. Like you want the class to work, and you want the class fantasy to also be working as well. Um, I think the class fantasy for the ones at the top, I really feel like those classes when I play it, and that's what you want. I feel, and that's what they're trying to go for more so than like applicability and like a spot in the raid. I feel like they're trying to go for that more, though. There are some classes that do fall behind, and I guess that's intentional. I'm not sure. Or there are like what, like four people that work on the battle systems. I don't think they have a healer main working on the battle systems, and I think it shows now. Maybe one day they'll get one, I'm not sure how they do feedback. There's a lot of things that are kind of weird that I'm going to talk about and down the line, but we'll see. So the next class is Black Mage. So I would do it like this. Yeah, I would do it like that from left to right. Oh boy, this class is it's like not even I don't even want to put it on the list when you level it, but as soon as it hits 90, it just works. Like I have a lot of fun playing this class in level 90 content. That was the first time I did it was today, and I had so much fun. Like I wasn't I don't even know how to describe it. Like it's just it felt good to press all those spells. Tricast being 2 charges is awesome. Um, I literally just run around in circles, jump up and down while I'm casting Fire 4. And Paradox, like Paradox is like an amazing ability. The fact that you can instantly cast it in Ice while you're moving, like that kind of like solves a lot of the problems I had with Black Mage, the being immobile. It still can be a turret, like you know with the ley lines and stuff, but I don't think it's that much of an issue if you know the fight. And that's a lot of things that can be upsetting to a lot of people is that you ley line somewhere and you're not really sure what's going to come out. So you got to know when and when not to ley line. But once you know that, this class is S tier on the fun. It's so rewarding to know and to pre-position yourself and to you're doing your thing. It's very rewarding to play this class, and it kind of shows because the guy who literally saved the game, Mr. Yoshida, he he made the class himself. So the fact that he made this class the most rewarding to play on knowledge of the game, I don't think that's any fucking. I don't think that's a mistake. So he did a good job with this. It really sucks playing in lower level dungeons though. When you don't have all the spells, it is not fun to play. Like I'm sorry, like it just isn't fun. I don't know how I did it. Like 1 through 90 over these years, I have no idea. Like I remember wishing I had Firestarter, but I think that's by design because it's like they want you to build up to it because it does take a lot of time to know where to stand and where not to stand because red mage and summoner don't really have that problem where they're like restricted to an area for a long period of time, and a long period of time being like let's say like 10 seconds, 10 to 20 seconds because leyline says I think it's 20. It's 20. I think leyline's 20 or 30, but you're constricted to that area. But what a lot of people don't know is that like you don't have to stand in the center of the lane lines. You can stand on any of the circle of the lane line. Like here's the circle, and you can stand like right here from the circle. Like you can have your big toe in the circle, and you'll get the buff. And that can come to your advantage. I have a really amazing player that's a friend of mine. He plays Black Mage like that, and that's where I've learned how to play Black Mage. I've kind of like try to emulate him, and he's always trying to push the limits to it. So it's really rewarding to playing this class, and you're always a student and with the game and that class. Like you're gonna learn how to play that class, and you're gonna learn how to play the game, and it's just brain expansion. So, and this isn't for the faint of heart though. Um, if you have a hard time trying to pay attention, or if you have a hard time with movement, I don't recommend this class. But I recommend it anyway because it's just so fun to play. It's the most rewarding. I feel like it's the most rewarding class in the game. I really feel that way. So yeah, that A plus, S plus, whatever, fun. Okay, so let's talk about red mage. So red mage isn't going there. I would put red mage. Actually, move it down. So where did I have it before? I'm gonna check my side view because I do have a tier list that I made. So I put it in great fun, but I'm not too sure. Let's talk about it. So there's a lot of good changes that happen with red mage. I think the biggest change that it had is with its mana. So before you had to build 80% mana regen or mana, um whatever the fuck it's called. It's like white and black mana. You had to build like 80%, and you get one combo. So in PvP now until like 6.1, so this is before 6.1. it's 50. So they changed it to 50 for PvE. So now you only have to get 50. So you would essentially have like two combos in like sometimes. I think like it could be every 2 minutes. I'm not sure, but you could potentially have two combos. Like you can hold it, and you could just dish out a lot of damage, and it does do a lot of damage. Manification puts you to 50. It doesn't just double. It doesn't double your mana. No, it puts you to 50. So like you instantly get a combo. So you can like open up with just the combo with the new um embolden. So an embolden now is uh universal damage. It used to be your own damage was magical and everyone else was physical. So if you had a black mage, it would have physical damage. So that was kind of really, really bad. So they changed it. So that's a great change. I think the manification is a great change too. Um, there's a button I don't even have. There's two buttons I don't have in my bar, which is displacement and that other move that like you like throw 5 mana at it to like kind of level it. I don't use that move anyway. I'm probably not playing red mage correctly. There's probably red mages that do play it and they like manage their mana. To me, I'm like I want it as high as I can and I want to dump it as much as I can. That's all I really give a shit about. So I don't have displacement on my bar because I don't trust myself. Uh, I kept killing myself and accidentally fat fingering it when I was pressing it. So or when I was doing my combo and accidentally kill myself with it. So I just took it off my bar completely. But I think the major gripe about it is that it still suffers from the same thing that it did last expansion. Scorch doesn't crit. So if you don't get a crit on Scorch, it feels horrible. If you don't get a crit on Resolution, it feels horrible. Like it's like you have all this build up, all this damage, everything, and then you finally do your ultimate like combo ender, does like 2 damage, and I'm like, fuck. And that's the one time, and like I feel like this is the only class in the game that I can look at that I feel that way, and I don't really feel that way when it's Madare or Oni whatever the fuck, like in the level 90 skill for Samurai. I only feel that way with Red Mage, and I feel like they could change it so that acceleration probably gives crit, like a move like reassemble. Is it called reassemble? Yeah, it's called reassemble for Machinist. I'm using a lot of like game terms, but yeah, this has two charges reassemble. So why not like acceleration has two charges? Why not just make acceleration crit and also give you know what it does now? So when you press acceleration and you press arrow 3, it actually doesn't take the charge of dual cast. It will act like it is an insta cast, and it won't take your dual cast. So you can essentially hold a dual cast, accelerate, use arrow 3, and then you can go straight into for Thunder 3, and you could potentially have two procs of stone and fire, and that one acceleration. It's a possibility. So I think that's a really, really, really good change. But make those crit. If you make those crit, like a guaranteed crit on those casts, this class would be up here, but it's going here. The changes are really good. Overall, great class. I would recommend it for anyone. It does a lot of damage early level too. I think that's a really cool thing about it is that once the potencies, I don't think they change. I think it's still like 330. I think it is. I think it's 330, but I can't really say. Don't quote me on that. But even low level, when you get your Ver Arrow or Ver Thunder, it's like high potency. So like you're gonna be flying through dungeons with it. Not more so now because dungeons they don't really dungeons below um 81 are like super cakewalk. So not really much to it. But yeah, this class is great. It would be amazing if it had that one crit because that's the one time in the game that I look at the number and I'm like, this is gonna crit. So I know that a lot of people feel the same way. So let's get that change. Okay, so Paladin. Paladin leveling isn't really all that. Um, so this is actually going to be a different topic. So we'll come back to that. So Monk. This is a class I've played I've actually stopped playing it in 5.0, but this is the first class I've ever played. This is the first class I put so much time into and hours. I've loved the class to death. It was always in a bad spot, going up damage wise. I think it's always been in a bad spot, and a lot of people don't really play it, but people who do play it and who do try to master it, they have the most fun out of the game. This is also a very rewarding class, and it has been for years, just like Black Mage. But for me, it's going here. Oh boy. So I can make a whole video explaining the well, at least from my perspective, the monk life. I've played a lot of monk. I used to play monk in raid. I used to go into coil, and I went all the way up to turn 9 in the coil with monk. I don't even know how the fuck I found parties, because why would you bring a monk? Well, we didn't really know any better back then, so no one really cared. If you were good at the game, that's what had you do. That was me. People thought I was good at the game, so I knew that because back then you couldn't. There wasn't when you died, your cooldowns didn't reset. So what you would do, and what I would do, and perfect balance was 180 seconds. I would force my party every wipe, and we wiped a lot. I think we had like 30 wipes, 30 to 50 wipes on turn 9. I would force them to wait for my perfect balance every single time. Every single time we would have to wait for perfect balance, and they listened to me. So that's how I know that I was a decent player. That's a good indicator that you're a good player. If people listen to you, that means you have to be a good player, or you have to be somewhat of a decent player. But anyway, yeah, that was a time. But I can make a whole video topic as to why I put monk down here. I think this class could use a lot of help. Um, I don't like a lot of things about it. Um, what I will talk about is a positive. I think Riddle of Win is a great change, or it's a great buff. I really wish that it was a shorter cooldown. I really wish it lined up with Riddle of Fire. It's not. I'm not sure why Riddle of Fire is 60 seconds, and then Riddle of Win is 90 seconds, and then Brotherhood is 120 seconds. Um, yeah, that's never gonna line up. I'm not sure if they didn't want it to line up. I'm not sure if they know it has to line. Like, I don't know why they don't want it to line up. It doesn't really need to line up, but it's kind of weird that it doesn't line up. If you get my point. Riddle of Wind is actually a really good ability. A lot of people don't know that. I think in Stormblood or in the older expansions. Not in Endwalker. I think Endwalker was a little different. Auto attacking was actually the highest damage. The highest damage the monk was doing was auto attacking. So if you put, that's why Grease Lightning was auto attack delay. It is still like that now, but that was a lot of the damage that was coming out of the monk. It was basically like a machine gun that was doing like sustained damage. It's like a dot. Like your whole class is just a dot, and that's all you're ever going to be. Like sometimes you can press a combo and keep that combo up, but mainly you're going to be on the bus 100% of the time, and you want to keep that uptime with the auto attacking. So yeah, like if you had Riddle win back then, with that whole debacle, with haste, and I don't think haste did auto attack delay, so it didn't really matter. But yeah, like that auto attack delay thing is pretty huge. Like 50% of your auto attack delay, like you're hitting like every second and a half. I think the lowest auto attack delay is like 240, 246, and it goes down to like 150 something or 140 something. So if you change that to like 100% where you're auto attacking every fucking, like it can get insane the amount of damage that you can dish out just with auto attacking alone. Um, and I like that. I like that a lot. That's what I'm used to as well. I've played a handful of monk in Final Fantasy 11 that coming in. I didn't really do much in Final Fantasy 11, but when I did, I played monk a lot. And auto attacking is really, really fucking good on monk. You build a lot of TP, you have subtle blow, and all that other crap. And Having a dancer and he gives you like absorb. I think it's absorb or drain or whatever, and you're auto attacking and you have like your weapon skill up. Man, you're just it's really good for early leveling, and that's a lot of fun. So auto attacking has like a special side of my heart. But this class isn't just auto attacking; it's a bunch of comboing too. I really don't like the perfect balance change. I can't get behind it. Um, yeah, people would say like, well, Samurai has it too, where you do the Sen gauge, and what other class has it? I can think of. You do technical step with Dancer. You have to do Mudras with Ninja. I just don't think it works for Monk. Um, I don't think it doesn't feel good to press, and it's like you're gonna do a thousand 150 move every 2 minutes, and I don't feel like that's worth the button press, if anything. Though, don't get me wrong, this is probably the best spot Monk's been in its lifetime. Like, since the game was open, I think this is the best spot Monk's ever been in the history of the game. Like, there was a time where, um, I think it was with Dark Knight. Dark Knight had a move that lowered the intelligence of the target, and your dragon kick would overwrite that, or dragon kick would overwrite it, and that move would overwrite dragon kick, and dragon kick I think would contribute to your blunt damage. So you're doing no damage. So if you have a Dark Knight in your group, so that just ruins Monk's whole thing. And Dark Knight was pretty fucking great back then, so you might as well just not bring the Monk. So right now I think it's in a perfect spot. I think it's like second DPS now. So going off of what I knew, I think it's like Reaper Monk Samurai or Samurai Monk, and Reaper still top. So it's in a good spot, and that's good. But I don't think it's fun to play. It's no surprise that no one's really playing this class. Um, I think it's needlessly complex than it needed to be. It's crazy because like it still has its 6 button combo, and it has added more stuff to it. But I feel like the added stuff to it kind of ruined the class, at least in my opinion. I don't think you need all that stuff. It could have just been simple stuff like Riddle of Wind, Riddle of Fire, or Brotherhood. I feel like those are good additions. You just have to change the cooldowns on them. But I don't think Ant Man's a good addition. I don't think Six Sided Star is a good addition. Um, I got behind Tornado Kick. Tornado Kick was very different back then than it is now. I know a lot of people remember that in 5.0 it was changed like 3 times. It was the same way in Stormblood. Stormblood it was changed a lot too. There was literally people telling you not to press it or you're trolling. But in 4.5, and I can make a whole video about Monk in 4.5. That was like the best time to be a Monk, and because there was just like one thing that it did, you had Riddle win on shoulder tackle, and what that would do is it would give you a stack of Grease Lightning. So so you would form shift into the third stance and demolish Riddle of Win. You have 2 stacks, and then you do one full combo, pop all your cooldowns before the snap punch, and it was pretty beautiful. It was pretty fun. That was really fun to play back then. So that was very different, um, different than it is now. It's drastically changed. Like you can't even recognize what it was before. And I think that a lot of people who play Monk now and just got into the game, they wouldn't like it before. And but not everyone's liked it before, and I don't think anyone really likes it now. Um, Again, that's my opinion, but I've leveled every class in this game, um, combat class, besides Dragoon, to level 90. In my time, and no exaggeration, I can estimate, um, I've only seen like 6 monks in that time, and it sounds depressing, but it is. It's a class that doesn't really get a lot of recognition, and it's a lot of hassle to play. I feel, and people could say like, well, you just get good at the game. Well, why do you put Black Mage up there? Because like that's also a class that you have to master, like you have to like learn, and you're always gonna be a student. And that's the same way with Monk. I feel like you're always gonna be a student too, but I feel like the systems that it has isn't really strong enough. I feel like it's not strong enough. It's just not fun to play. It's decent to play, but it's not like I would put it at the bottom. Like Riddle of Wind really like helped me there with it. I think that was really cool to press, and that was really great. Um, Monk changes, I have no clue what they can do to that class. I feel like we need more like auto attacking stuff, like maybe like double attacking. Like sometimes your auto attacks can double hit maybe. Like I have no idea what they could do with Monk. Um, yeah, but adding Ant-Man, I feel like that was a mistake. I feel like the shifting focus from well six well, let's go with Six-Sided Star first. Six-Sided Star, I feel like that was a bigger mistake. I don't know a lot. I have a lot of arguments with a lot of people about it. I really don't like that button. I don't want to press it at all. You have three teleports, but you have a move that can speed you up and a scholar. That's just ridiculous. If you need that much speed, just make Peloton on the range DPS. Just make that give you speed, just like fucking, just like fucking and it's not even sprint. It's like walk speed. So you run as fast as a ninja with wind of or fist of wind. So it's basically fist of wind on a button that's just like oh man, like that's oof. So that's a whole debacle. But yeah, I think the biggest thing to take away from it was that they had a choice, and it was do we keep Grease Lightning and the stacking effect, or do we keep Twin Snakes? So Twin Snakes gives you 15%. It's called Discipline Fist now. It gives you 50% damage, but Grease Lightning was like the whole bread and butter of the skill. It was the whole bread and butter of the class. I don't think you got Twin Snakes until like level 15 or level 12 or level 3. I'm not sure. But you did start off with Grease Lightning. Grease Lightning was a integral part of the class. It was, that was his identity. Like the balls with fucking Black Mage. That was like, you can compare the two back then because they had a system where they had to keep up to do their consistent damage with it. And Monk's always been about that ramp up. Like it's always like, oh, we're gonna ramp up into that. And I felt like they could have done more to explore those things as you're ramping up to it. But I felt like they kind of just cut it out for the sake of applicability. I feel like they wanted the class to be more approachable, so they took out that mechanic. And I feel like the class is even less approachable now than it's been because that perfect balance gimmick is not fun. And people will say like, well, you can just you can keep your Ant Man or you can keep your Twin Snakes with Ant Man. That's also a button I don't want to press. The thing is that with formless strikes or formless move that it makes you basically do all the forms. Every time you press it, you can open up all forms to yourself. Before it used to be you cycle through. Um, it used to reset your Grease Lightning, and I've never really had an issue holding Grease Lightning. There was three buttons to do it. There was Riddle of Earth, which was another move that they completely gutted. There was Formless, which is Form Shift, and there was Ant Man. So you had three moves that literally kept your Grease Lightning, and I feel like that was like what's the problem with holding Grease Lightning? People would drop it or whatever. Um, Ant Man wasn't the answer. I feel though Ant Man can hold your your fighting stance. I don't feel like that's too much of an issue, but that's like I'm like scraping the surface with it. I can go into like the whole history of like from my perspective on how Monk was played and what they did good and what they did bad. But I've talked about Monk for like almost 20 minutes now, so I can keep going on with it. Bottom line is that this class needs help. No one wants to play it. I play a lot of content. I do a lot of extremes and stuff. That's what a lot of people are here to see and do. We don't see Monk often. We really don't. So, and when we do, it's a sight to see. And I want people to play the class, but a lot of people choose not to, and that's no surprise. So that about wraps up all the damage classes. Let's talk about Blue Mage that I'm not going to put on here. Blue Mage is S tier. It plays all the classes. It heals, it tanks, it DPSs. It's only going to get better. There'll probably be a day where it's going to be in current content. If I ever get the chance, I would always play Blue Mage if I can ever get the chance to. But maybe one day. It's going into its own tier. I always want to play. because I do. I really enjoy this class. I think that a lot of people stigmatize it because it's a weird class. It doesn't really fit in, and you play it. But when the fucking patch comes out and people are fucking playing the shit out of it, there's a lot of people that will go into older content, myself included, synced, that want to play Blue Mage. And there's a lot of people that, like, I call them the content purists. They don't want Blue Mage in there. They want they want you to cheese it. And there are things that you can't. There's a lot of things you can cheese with Blue Mage. I used to do a coil raid with my FC, and I played Blue Mage in there, and I made it so that I would talk to the individuals that I was raiding with, my FC, and I would tell them like, hey, I have this move, I'm not going to use it, or I have this move, I'm not going to use it. I would make it a conversation, so that they get to learn about Blue Mage and what it does, and um, I won't completely cheese the fight. Like we can approach it in a different way. And there was a lot of things back then that made those fights, I would say, easier. For example, um, like Virus, Stone Skin. Stone Skin's a big one. Eye for an Eye and everything. It would, and Rage of Halone. You have things that debuff the boss and just debuff the boss in general. Um, there's a lot of things in the coil raids that if you're not prepared for and if you don't know what's going on, you can definitely still lose to it, like still minimum mana level and whatnot. And that shows how it still tells the test of time. But the difference is between now and then is that you don't have those abilities anymore. Those abilities are not in the game. And Blue Mage kind of alleviates that by putting some of those abilities back in the game, like Bad Breath. Bad Breath, I use Bad Breath a lot on the tanks, whatever ad I was fighting with whatever tank. Um, that really helped out a lot with the damage that it would do, and it does a lot of damage. Like it can literally like two hit, like it can auto attack and like fucking swipe, and then you're dead. That Bad Breath really kind of helped out there. Um, again, there I feel like this class is more of a saboteur class than a damage dealing class. Like it's just there to. It's like these two, what they do, but everything combined. Like it supports the team, and it deliberates the boss, so that it makes it more manageable. And I would recommend anyone, if you do coil, um, bring a blue mage. Make it. Don't bring all the cheap stuff. Bring the bare minimum of like a thing. I could probably show it one day on what I brought into there, and I would talk about it too. Like there was also when we went to turn 5 with Tit, what we did was I would level 5 def the ads so we could just fight Twin Tanya immediately, so we didn't have to worry about the ads. So that was really helpful. I think you could freeze those ads too and instantly kill them, but I used level 5 def so that there was a chance that I would miss, so that we would have to deal with it, and I would have to make sure that I would do it. But like that's a whole different dynamic to the game that I would recommend anyone to try out. It is a lot of things to invest into. You have to get all the spells, but back then you had to have like a full party of blue mages to get 100%. Now you just need to be synced. So I think it's much easier to do now, and it's much more approachable to do than ever before. And it's really easy to level. I do have 2 videos on how I did level it. They're on my channel. I'll probably put like links down in the description on how I did it. But yeah, that class is really fun to play. I know a lot of people get it flack, but trust me, that class one day, like with the content that we're doing now, Blue Mage will be inside of it, and there will come a time in this 10 years that we have left of this game that people are going to be doing the content again, minimum on level, and they will want a blue mage. They will want to bring a blue mage, and you could be that spot. So there's a potential there. So that's all the damage dealers in the game. Um, this is a 48-minute video. It's pretty long. Um, I'm sorry that it is long. I don't really care too much. You can just put this video on. I'll probably make a disclaimer at the beginning of the video. So hi in the beginning of the video. Um, yeah, this is gonna be a long video. So let's talk about the tanks. So now we have 4 tanks this time. We have Warrior, Dark Knight, Paladin, Gunbreaker. Those are the 4 tanks we have this game. let's get into it. So blue mage stays in its own tier. I'm sorry. Nothing else matters. That goes there. Holy Jesus! What is Square Enix thinking that this tank can be this good? Now, I don't even have to talk about the other tanks because they don't matter. There was a time in Stormblood where double warrior was a thing, and that might as well be a thing now because fuck these other classes. Okay, this class is stupid. It's just ridiculous. As soon as you get bloodwetting, you remove other classes from the game. These other four classes don't exist. You can have double of these and remove these, have all DPS, and it'll be just fine. There's some experts that I do with my friends when we with my FC when we do experts. We don't even bring a healer. We just double warrior or just one warrior. It doesn't fucking matter. We don't even bring healers anymore. And I think that shows a lot about the state of the game now. Um, it's probably just not warrior that kind of breaks the game. I think it's like how they balance the game is could be an issue, but this class is insane. There obviously everyone probably here has seen the video, the hour-long video of it soloing raid content, normal raid content, and I've heard both sides of the argument where um I saw on the official, okay, I'll say the official forums and the Reddit. So I know the people on Reddit were like, "Yeah, this is awesome, fucking badass," and I do agree with him somewhat. And then there's the people on the official forums. I'm surprised I'm still here too. But sometimes the official forums can be a good place for information. There's a lot of things that I've really learned about the game that I go on official forums sometimes. But on the official forums with that same video, they're talking about how the game is like this is fucked, you know. Um, and I agree with that too. So I can see both sides. What do I prefer? Um, I'm leaning more towards the official forum side because the game should be hard. Um, Coil is one difficulty, and I feel like we should go back to the one difficulty, and Savage should be bragging rights, if you ask me. Though we can't really go back to that. I do like it the way that it is now, but there is a telltale sign that the game is easier than it is before, and it's very approachable. That's why they called Shadowbringers casual bringers, because a lot of casuals play the game and they casualize the game. We're gonna feel the effects of that for a long time, a long, long time. We're gonna feel the effects of that. Though I do make it a point to think about because on the official forums, there's a lot of people I don't agree with. They say that none of the raids have enrages. Not true. A lot of raids have soft enrages. I was in Shiva today. We couldn't even clear it because I had a lot of new people. There was at least four new people, two new healers, one new tank, and one DPS. Right? Yeah, no, two new healers, one new tank, yeah, one DPS. So they were all new. They were dead all the time. So absolutely had no idea how to do it. But we tried to teach them how to do it. We ended up both abandoning. I do have that video at this time of this recording. I do have that on the stream. I'm not gonna tell you the time because it's horrible, but it goes to show you that people don't really know how to play the game too well. I'm not really an expert on the game either. I'm not really the greatest player, but I do have a mind, and I do have a head on my shoulders. I do mess up, but it's very, it's not that impactful. Those guys, on the other hand, yeah, I was dying AOE's. Like I was getting healed. That's probably not like a thing about difficulty on the fight. That's probably the player, but that fight does have an enrage. It has a soft enrage. It will keep casting absolute zero unless you kill the boss, and to transition it. And as absolute zero is basically AOE. I'll just keep doing damage to you. If you don't heal through that, you're gonna lose. I found that out today, twice. So yeah. And when it transitions, it does endless ice age. That's also a soft enrage. So that's the thing. Titan in the same raid, not in the same tier, but in the same like overall raid, it has a tank swap. Now a lot of people don't do the tank swap. I actually tested it. I went in there as different tanks. I went in there as my Dark Knight. I went in there as my Gunbreaker, and I went in there as my Warrior. I didn't play Paladin there. I was going to, but I just said fuck it. Um, yeah, no one tank swaps. I would main tank it first, and then I would swap it over. Um, the Titan would step on you, and it does like a vulnerability up physical. So you want to tank swap because it's like the auto attacks hurt, but no one does it. I would forcefully make sure that I would shirk them as soon as we have the tank swap, but no one provokes. I've never had someone provoke. I've had one person tell me, "Yeah, we don't tank swap there," and it's like, who's we and why? Like that's a mechanic. So you have people ignoring mechanics, which is another problem that can feed into um, bad habits that a lot of people on the official forums talk about. And I know a lot of people on the Reddit talk about too, but I see it a lot more on the official forums. So overall, um, I'm not sure what they can do to combat that. They can make the raids harder, um, but it's supposed to be approachable to the thing. And the argument can be, okay, who are they making the game for? And they're making a game for a lot of people that play this game. So yes, you do have to have the game easy, and obviously someone who knows how to play the game is going to be amazing at the game, so they know it. But you also have people that want the game to be played a certain way, that it should be perceived that way, so you always have good players. And those are two arguments you have there that are going to clash. So I'm not sure what side I really am on. I'm on the fence because like I can agree with both, because ultimately fun was what matters the most, if anything. But it's not fun if people don't know how to play, but it's also not fun if you can't do whatever the fuck you want. Like there's it's a coin, it's two sides. It's They're two different sides of the same coin. But yeah, this class, I know that was a huge rant. I'm sorry, but this class is amazing. Um, I play it. Dark Knight. Where did I have it? I don't even remember where I had it before. But I'm going off of my own tier list. I made a tier list prior, and I'm just making a video about it. So I'm just commentating over my decisions. Dark Knight here. Fuck. I think there's a video online of this chick. Unmend my life. I agree. Fuck this class. Are you serious? How did this pass balancing? This is disgusting. This is disgusting. There's a lot of things wrong with it. No self-sustain is a huge part. A lot of people don't know. I say this story a lot, but uh, while I was leveling it through the 81 through 90 content, I've had people, especially in Savannah Spotty, um, basically Southern California on fire. That dungeon with these are the people of Thavnir. Forgive me, I can do that guy. So with the dragon. Anyway, I've had people tell me they're going to kick me, they're going to not heal me, and they're going to leave if I don't stop hard pulling. I've had people tell me to stop hard pulling. I've had people tell me not to go wall to wall with the pulls on Dark Knight. I would pop every fucking cooldown as much as humanly possible to get through that. Um, and I've still had people tell me, no, I don't want to do this. This isn't fun to me. I had one guy leave, but I've had several different occasions that people told me to stop. This class is bad. Why is it not down here? Because it's still kind of fun. It's still kind of fun. I used to play Dark Knight a lot. In Bringer Shadow. I used to play it a lot, and it's really like it's just 1, 2, 3 like Delirium, Bloodspiller. It's really cool to look at, and it's really cool aesthetic wise. I think it's a cool class overall. Um, fuck, the fucking buttons suck. If anything, these buttons are probably the worst. I would say they're probably the worst buttons in the game. Dark Mind, holy fuck. More like Mind Shatter because this is still in the fucking game. I wish they would put Dark Dance back in the game. No, Dark Dance was a Heaven's Ward ability, and what it would do is would put your parry rate up. But if you did Dark Side on top of Dark Dance, it would give you 40% evasion, and you can dodge tank busters. I would dodge Sephiroth's tank buster multiple times, so I would take no damage. And so, what's a cooldown that you just take absolutely no damage? It's basically hollow ground 40% of the time. So that's why that class was broke. There's a lot of things that was broken about it back then, but this class needs fucking help. This class needs help. Um, why not make the pet? The pet can miss too, which is also horrible. Um, why not? I think the abyssal drain on the pet doesn't give you HP either. So what the fuck? Like the pet's is its own player. Well, what's cool about it, if you have 8 Dark Knights, you actually have 16 because you have other Dark Knights that you can summon, so you can like have 16 Dark Knights. You have 16 players, and like, anyway, uh, there's a lot. See, that's why it doesn't go down the bottom completely because like there's a lot of fun things you can do with it still, and um, I feel like the pet should siphon health. Like, why does it? It's just there. It's just a dot that does a lot of damage. Um, there's no reason for it not to siphon health. I think that Dark Knight, when it's in, um, when you get the buff to Dark Side, I feel like you should also absorb HP at the same time. Like I have no idea, but I know Dark Knight in 11 has some absorption. You know, a scythe that absorbs energy. You know, it's like why not? Um, it's very weird. I feel like they don't want it. They feel like they pulled a Bard here, where they don't want it to be completely like Bard in 4.0 was like borderline OP. I had a lot of people come into my party when I was playing Dragoon. I'm only here because you played Dragoon because of my piercing damage. It only helps me, and you give me the Dark Sight or the Dragon Sight, so it would help their opener. So they have good parses. So I had a lot of bards tell me that about why they only want to play with me because I play Dragoon. So I played Dragoon with them because I would switch to Dragoon for them. And I know they're a good bard, so they would just tell me that. But that was back then when like there was less people playing, and you knew people that came into your party a lot. At least I did because I was doing the extreme farming back then. So I would keep a list of people and I would know what they played and what they liked to do. So that was just me. I don't have that list unfortunately. I don't have it anymore, but I used to have it when I was living in my other place. But yeah, like I feel like that class in Stormblood was like borderline. Like it was actually like there, and they don't want to do that again. I feel like it had its own story. Like it doesn't even need to be compared to Bard, but its own story in the fucking Heaven's Ward. And I feel like ever since, like they're just like, fuck, we fucked up. But then we have Warrior that just like, yeah, who gives a shit? Let's have Warrior be amazing. Give it 4 gap closers. Usually the stuff with gap closers are good. These are good. All these. This has a gap closer. This has 4 gap closers. This has 5 gap closers. This could potentially have 2 gap closers, and this has a teleport with an egress. So, hmm, hmm. All right. So yeah, Dark Knight goes down there. Paladin goes here. Yeah, this class. Oh, let's do it like this. At least it could take a hit. So we'll put it there. Yeah, this class. I really praised it for I'm doing my fight or flight. Now I do my relicast. Now I do my fight or flight. Now I do my relicast. Like I feel like or relicast or whatever the fuck it's called. Reliquist. I have no fucking clue. Um I feel like it was really cool, but now I feel like it's like kind of lived its time and it needs to change. Um we went from we went from in Heaven's Ward, we went from the sword only does 75% potency or 75 potency on auto attack. That's all the sword did in Sword of. Now we have it so that you have only sword skills and all these sword skills that does a lot of damage with spells and no shield skills. Like you have Holy Shieldtron, you have cover, and you have passage that blocks. But we we took Shieldtron out of the game, but we put it on Holy Shieldtron, so it blocks all things. Um, it doesn't feel fun. I think they should change it a little bit. Um, I want them to have Avenging Wrath instead of those 2 buffs, and just put it into one maybe, where you press it and you get both. I don't know how that would work, but it doesn't make like it should be all damage instead of oh this is physical, this is magical. It should be all damage really. You don't use all your mana anymore, so like there's like really no point. I didn't really like that to begin with either. Like you have to spend all your mana and then like Confider. Um, but I don't like it now either. Like I think it's like oh you get 5 things and then you Confider and then you Confider combo. And the Confider combo I feel like it's too fucking long. Like I feel like I don't have fun with it. I feel like it's too long for like some reason. And Goring Blade, like you can override it by accident. So if you Fat Finger, you're fucked. Um, should it get Stone Skin? Yes. Um, more block interaction. I feel like if you cover, I feel like you should cover someone. I feel like cover should be like Cardia or like Dance Partner, where you still redirect all the damage from that target to you, and to a portion of your shield block strength or whatever. I don't know. I feel like it should be something like that, where you can put it on the off tank or the main tank or off tank, whatever you want. Like if you're off tanking because you swapped, you can like cover them for a bit, and that's what it does. Instead of just like redirecting all the damage, you just redirect a portion of it. Like you could, or you can just not redirect it to you, but block it. You know, just block it. Like in general, like oh, you have a chance to block like for the person that's on it, and I think that would be kind of cool. That's probably a little broken, but because it goes with my next thing, which is make Holy Shield. I don't know if people know, but like Holy Shield in World of Warcraft is if you block, it does holy damage. Back to the, it just basically a reflect. Why put it in the game? You know, when you Holy Shield Tron, just like fucking hold this shield block. You know, like what you have a shield strength. Is shield block rate? I think it's shield block rate and shield strength. You have that. Why not use it? You know. Oh, it's like well, Zook. It would be like a 2,000 potency reflect because if you block it, it's gonna reflect, and you're always gonna block with Holy Shieldtron. Yes. No, I think it should be a cap at like I don't know, like 100 or 75 or something. But it needs to have a little bit more interaction than what it is now. I think it's still solid in what it does, but it hasn't really changed much. I think this tank should be the one getting fucking smacked, if you ask me. Hollow Ground is stupid. There's just some abilities. There's some boss abilities that it completely like negates them. So they've done a little good on that. But I remember back in like Stormblood, like the Storm Split on on Susano, the Storm Split. Yeah, you wouldn't get the debuff. So you bring double Paladin. So you just like you would swap once. So it was pretty cool. But yeah, not everyone did that, but you could. So I think that was the cool part. But yeah, I feel like this class needs to get smacked. I don't think a lot of people do MT with it. I think they just like off tank with it because it does more damage, and I don't feel like that's like the fantasy. At least for me, that's not really the class fantasy. So speaking of damage, we have Gunbreaker, and it will go down here. Wow. I did not have fun at all leveling. I've never had fun leveling this until level 70. When you got to continuation, and then I got bored of it. Um, I think it's a great change that continuation is now one button, but to me, it's still not fun to play. There's not really much to it. It's just your standard tank, like oh, you have cooldowns, but you're a DPS, so you weave in rough divide into your whatever the it's. I might as well just like why tank? If I want to tank, I want to get smacked. I don't want a DPS. Like, yeah, sure, we do DPS. You're just like deep. You're just the blue deeps. But I don't. I want to get smacked. Like, I want to like have interaction with the boss. I want to like. I'm tanking for a reason. Like, I'm not just off tanking and then just doing damage because I'm filling a slot. And if I want to fill a slot and I'm off tanking, I'm gonna play warrior. Like, why wouldn't you just play warrior? But I think Darknet does the most damage out of all these classes too. I think Gunbreaker or Paladin are second, and then it's warrior. But hot damn, is warrior fucking so great to play. Anyway, um, I've never really, damage is not really my thing, and I don't think double down is worth 90. Like double down is like 1,000 potency. Like who gives a shit? Guys, I'm gonna double down. Like, I'm ready. Or like, hold on, guys. I'm just gonna heal myself because I can, because I'm a warrior. I'm also gonna fly across the room and do like direct crit damage because I'm a warrior. I have like 4 gap closers. Fuck you. Like, I'm segueing into my next point, but yeah, it's just the harder conundrum or whatever, it being XCOG, I don't like it at all. I think that's really it's kind of bad. I don't like it, period. I think 2 stacks of Aurora is good. Um Double down is not fun. Hyper velocity is like that's a joke. These skills, these like end skills, I have no I don't care for them really. What would you put there? I have no idea. I think hyper velocity does fit, but man, I don't like pressing that button. With the continuation, like you do the burst and then the hyper velocity, I think it's a little excessive. They're like, man, we gotta press this continuation button. It's almost like we had a button for Dark Knight and it was called Dark Side, and then it affected 8 abilities, and now we have that same button on Gunbreaker, but it only affects 2. It's like we're going backwards and stuff because we have no idea what to do. So I mean, that's just like a hot take. Like take it as you will, but yeah, it's a little. That's a little. I don't know. But yeah, I don't look forward to pressing double down. Like guys, I'm gonna double down. Like I feel like it's a joke. If anyone said that to me in stream on comms or in my stream, if, guys, wait, I gotta double down, and they just fucking do it, I would probably like cry laughing because like that's fucking hilarious if I see that. A lot of people, if you've noticed too, no one plays it. No one's playing it in my parties. Like period. I see a lot of other parties and no one's really playing it. Let me know if you guys play it. I had one guy in my FC play it, and he's like the only one that plays it. So because I have other people that were they were healer DPS mains, they switched to warrior, and that's my final point on the tanks. Um, Paladin, Dark Knight, and Gunbreaker, they're not warrior. So when I play those tanks, I only want to play warrior. I only want to play warrior. When I play other tanks, it's like why bother when you have warrior? Um, I think that's a huge problem, and that needs to change. I'm not sure how they can change it because warrior is just an insane force to be reckoned with, and it might not change in 2 years. It might not change in 4 years. We'll see. But that's my end on Tank. Again, thank you if you made it this far. I'm probably not gonna chapter this. You're fucked. Um, Good luck. Let's get into healing with our last set. So healing was overall it was a pain to do on some tanks. I personally think that warrior is fucking stupid. uh, if you can take that away, healing with a warrior is like I don't even have to play the game, and I think that's a problem. But it also alleviated it because when I healed other tanks, it was like a pain to do. So even when I'm playing healer, I want you to play fucking warrior. Like I only want to heal warriors because they get heal themselves. But that's another issue. So let's talk with white mage. Everyone knows me. I don't like white mage. It goes down here. I think this class I've had the most strife with people that I've played the game with. I've the most problems I've had with all these classes that I've played the game with. It's probably white mage has been the most. Um, there's just a lot of people that I've never agreed with or I've gotten arguments with or like it's been very nasty to me have been white mages. And I think that has a lot to say about a lot of white mage players. But not to say that all white mage players are like that. It's just the ones that I've dealt with personally and I've been friends with and everything. They are pretty much pretty nasty people. And I wouldn't really associate with them too much. But there's some cool white mages out there that's really cool. And I met some, but overall I don't like this class. Um, wow. We went from mana being great to I can't fucking cast. Can't DPS. What did they do to Thin Air? Um, they have a 3 minute cooldown. I think it's the only 3 minute cooldown in the game. Why is that in the game? I think it's a cool concept. I think Litany Bell can be great. If you do Zodiark with sticks, it's a AOE. If you get like fucking fucked with it. I think Lilybell's fucking amazing there, but you do it once. So another thing with Heidelin, like talking about that, um, you get that stack marker with Lightwave, and you do Bell there. But guess what? You got to stack again after, and it's 3 fucking minutes. Why that skill has to be 3 minutes is beyond me. But that's not even the worst part. The worst part about that fucking skill is that it's at level 90, which is the second worst part. The first worst part is that it only procs off damage on you as the healer. So if you take damage, you heal the party. It doesn't just periodically heal people like a perfume or like like a mist. It only heals when you take damage. Now I've tried this, and I try to put a bleed on myself in some of the fights that can offer you bleed to see if it still procs, and it doesn't proc. So that skill fucking sucks. I hate that skill. I don't. I only look forward to press it when it's like stack Ankh Morn, AOE, um, or like not really AOE, but like a stack marker. That's the only time I really want to press it, and you only got to press it once. Yeah, this class, I don't fucking know what they could do. Like, yeah, we have pure healers. Like, it just does that. It doesn't really bring anything to the table. Like, you can't really make Dia like it is in 11 and in PvP. You can't really make Dia like that in our game because that's pretty nuts. Like Dia, what it does in PvP is it increases the target's damage that it takes by 10%. And at least in PvP terms, so it's like completely different. But if you were to put that in PvE, that would be like this would shift overnight. But as it stands, I don't think anyone looks forward to playing this class. I haven't even talked about the full class about it. I don't know what the fuck they did to this class. Thin Air is horrible. Like, why did they change that? It's like they don't want you to DPS anymore as a white mage. They want you to DPS when you are allowed to DPS, and that's when you have a Flatus. That's the only time you can DPS. What a fucking blue baller. Anyway, it goes down there. These classes need help. Okay, so now we go up to Scholar, and it's going here. Holy fuck, that level 90 skill is amazing. The fact that the level 90 skill not only reduces the damage that you take by 10%, but it fucking gives everyone sprint. Everyone laughed at it, including me. I have footage of me fucking laughing at it. And there was thousands of posts on it to change it. But holy Jesus, that movement is is al dente. Al dente. Oh, wow. That was a shocker. I look forward to having scholars in my party just because of that. And I think that there's a spot for, healers also doing what these classes do and more, like a supportive role and augmenting the battlefield, debuffing the boss. That's something that Blue Mage can bring to the table too as a saboteur. Um, I think it's really cool. I think it's like a mental thing too. Um, you don't notice it unless you're doing it, and then once you're doing it, your whole gameplay changes because like you realize that you're going to sprint. So it's one less button press you're going to press, and you're sprinting, so like you're going to change up your game plan because you know that desperate measures is up, or what's it called? I call it desperate measures or the juice. I used to like juice me up. That's what I call it. But yeah, it's like it's there's no skill in the game that does that. That's not devilment or any other buff that you give other people. It's not that. But I think devilment is more of an impactful thing because you're gonna know, like you see devilment, and that's when you're like, I need to do damage now. And I feel like that's another like I said, that's a button that kind of turns on your brain. Like, okay, I need to do it right now. Like I need to like dump all the shit I have, all this fucking shit. I need to deep dick this boss right now, to the point where you practically kill yourself. Because I've seen a lot of people that I give devilment to in the right moment. Like I know when the thing's gonna come up for them, and they're just like tunneled vision because they're trying to get the rest of devilment. That's what that move is to a lesser degree. It just like it makes you pay more attention to the game, and for the fact that you can mentally charge someone, like you can activate someone's neuron from like someone I've never met before. Like you can affect their gameplay like that. I feel like that's what we need in this game for a lot of these classes, and I want to see more of it. Um, Not so much divination, but yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Though I do in stream, I do say, "Oh, thanks for the card, thanks for this." I always say thank you because it's like, "Oh wow, this guy's giving me cards, cool." And I feel like I get more cards because I say thank you. But that's if they're listening to the stream. Here, so this class is just a little bit better than White Mage, as you can see. The fact that it has like a mini game with its own cards, I feel like I feel like that should have been AoE. We need to go back to the time where there were buffs and it was niche when you build different buffs. I feel like we need to go back to that. I feel like people didn't know what people didn't know it was so good until it was gone. And I think that we're kind of trying to get back into that with the whole mechanic that it can buff itself. But I feel like the buffs on itself are kind of wasted. I would like that haste on a black mage, or I would like the damage buff on, a machinist, or I would like that mana buff on a white mage, or maybe my sage. That would probably help them out. Again, a more supportive role. Um, the divination change is amazing. I think that's a great change. Um, Good. I hated divination on pull. Horrible. Um, Going back to the cards as it was in Stormblood, I kind of wish the Minor Arcana was a regen buff with Lady and a damage buff on Crown for everyone in your party. Let's make it like 1% or 3%. Like, it doesn't have to be amazing. Make it 1%. Maybe Lady could have been a haste card, and that would have been amazing. Um, I want them to go into this more supportive stuff, and I feel like they're easing into it with what we have now, and I feel like it works with those two at the top, where it's great fun with Astro and Scholar being them. Um, yeah, I want the cards to do the different things. I don't just want it to be damage anymore. I want there to be different effects now. I think that would be pretty cool. I think the Final Fantasy is always taking the safe route on their design. Um, Seeing how boss in square room, boss in circle room, boss on rectangle with trains. Now that was awesome. That was pretty cool actually, going in the drink cards and everything. But we're kind of getting a little formulaic with it, and I feel like they could be kind of different now or try to do stuff. I liked it when Titan had like walls and everything, and you can like I think you have to go up and down from. I don't really remember that fight too much, but I think that's really cool. Um, I think a little lesser extent, I think like X-Def was a really cool fight, like Neo X-Def. That was really hectic and an amazing fight. And it felt like you were actually in the void, like fighting this void fucking god of destruction that literally came out of nothing. It was like it was created from nothingness, just the void. So I feel like they really hit the knob. They really hit the head on the knob. There's some fights that really do it good. There's some fights that are just like, okay, square room. And I was actually gonna quit the game because of that. Um, because there's no really variation. But I just stopped caring about rating and overall just pushing for harder content. I just kind of want to enjoy the game now. So I really feel like they should stop taking the safe route on some things and experiment because like they don't have to wait 2 years to change something. And Heaven's Word, they changed Astro 3 fucking times because people complained so much that they sucked. So they changed them 3 times. But Machinist, we had to wait till 5.0 for that class to be even playable. So like they should definitely don't not be too much afraid to try to things. Another thing too I want to point out is that this game gets a lot of mainstream media attention, and there's a lot of mainstream media that every single time that before 6.08 came out, they were talking about it like every day. Like, it was like, oh, 6.08, here's the changes that we could have, and blah blah. And people always get hyped up just to be disappointed because it's always just potency changes. Like, it's nothing that's like instrumental to it. Like even like before when M Walker, they were like huge monk changes coming, and they changed like 2 things about it, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna do it next time. Like we'll just change it again, and then they literally changed it like the next patch. But like they don't they don't really do much aside from that unless like they really like rework or rehaul something completely. And I only think of like that happened like 3 times, I think 3 or 4 times in the game. So they're not like World of Warcraft. I feel like World of Warcraft does a little bit more, where they'll like change a class or like they'll break it, or it'll stay broken for years or whatever. But I feel like they're in a good spot where they can do that. But I think the problem why they can't do that as often, they do it every 2 years, it's probably to keep people coming back for more. That's gonna be like a lesser extent, but it could also be because there's only like 4 people on the battle team that actually do the battle team. I think it's like 4 people, so there could be like lack of manpower, maybe. I don't know, but other than that, what could help it? I don't think a PTR could help, but I have no idea how they would take feedback. But if you ask me, it needs to change. So, with that being said, last but not least, is Sage. I'll just give you a brief intermission real quick. All right, sorry about that. My nose got stuffed, but we're going to talk about Sage. I didn't mean to put it down here. It's actually right here. This class sound effects are cool. This class is really cool to play. Um, it feels good to play sometimes. Pressing Eureka, your creation or your whatever they augment to your abilities on the shields. It's a class gimmick. Like you have to kind of get used to it, and once you do get used to it, it's not so bad, but it's still kind of weird. Um, the dot not being like just on the bar is weird. It's like what I'm saying about There's another class I said in the beginning where it's like, why do I have to press this button to do that? Like it just doesn't make sense. So it doesn't really flow. But it's not so bad on Sage. I think it's pretty cool. Um, it feels bad when you have to use an Adder Sting to get mana and no one's really hurt by anything. Final Fantasy is a game that's like a dance. If everyone knows how to do it, the only damage that you're going to take is from literally unavoidable damage, like AoE damage that the boss does periodically, or like dots or whatever that the boss puts on you, and you can't really avoid them. So that's the kind of stuff you have to look out for. Because if everyone knows how to do the fight, you're not really going to get hit. You're only going to need to heal what's being dealt to you. And I feel like Sage kind of like when people play Sage, they realize that because it's more about control of that rather than like pumping the number, and that's why you're more damage focused. And a lot of people like to, you know, I've had a couple instances in dungeons where it's like I don't DP, I don't heal, I I do damage because that's how I heal. I see my cardia. If I heal everyone. I've had people tell me that in dungeons, and I feel like the 5th grade reading level on NA needs to stop. It needs to be at least 8th grade reading level at least, like please. But jokes aside, um, yeah, it really does have a mana issue. It can. Um, it's kind of weird, but yeah, it just feels bad when you have to add like you have to use your stacks to just get your mana back. How can they fix this? Maybe refresh back in the game. Maybe mana shift. I don't know. All I know is that like that's just a weird mechanic it has. It's cool, but it's fucking weird. Like you get like what 700 mana of your maximum per. They could have just said that, but they said 7%. But yeah, I think it's 700. And there's a lot of cool moves that does it and do it too. I like the regens too. Like you do physics with the regen, and I like to do the in dungeons at least. I like to do there's a move that increases the HP recovery by 20%. You can put on one target. So I do both the dots and that, and I did DPS. So the DPS concept of it is pretty cool. Um, I wish you can attack faster with instead of for like the potency being higher by 50% with that one buff that does that. I wish it was like spell speed. That could be changed with Astro giving you the spell speed buff. But that could be a reason why they don't want to have a haste buff is because of that one reason. Because like the healing output could be like insane and we don't even know it. So it doesn't matter. You're gonna overheal anyway because like you're gonna be on the main tank, and I guess you're just healing auto attack damage, which is like a regen. So it's like your permanent regen on like one person. I think Hanma and Pai Hama, Hamatation, amazing skills. It's literally like that's amazing. That's a cool interaction. Um, everything else about it, I don't like the level 90 skill. I think the level 90 skill is kind of dumb. Like every 120 seconds, I heal everyone and do damage, and then I have to wait another 120 seconds to do the same thing. So I'm not into it. I think that's really stupid. I didn't even talk about Microcosmos and Astro. I kind of glazed over it because I was talking about other things. But yeah, Microcosmos is actually like a huge brain play, and it's like it's kind of integral to the game because like it heals like for the damage that you take while it's up. So like, you literally get all your HP back. So it's like benediction for the whole party. Um, that's amazing. That's a really good skill that I feel like it's being kind of slept on. Um, compared to the lightning bell and the laser, that's dumb. If the laser left the dot, maybe, but I'm not into it. I don't like it. I think Toxin 3, I think it's called. The one where you have to like shield someone and then you can do damage after the shield is broken. I think that's really dumb. I think it's yeah, it's kind of stupid. It should be every time you spend an orb or one of your resources, you should get like an orb back so that it's like white mage where you're like spending your healing people to do more damage. And you can eventually do damage, but I guess they wanted to avoid that. But it just doesn't feel like it works. I like the regens. Like there's a regen every 30 seconds. I need to do physics. You can fit 2 regens and 1 physics. So it's like you would do like both the regens and then you'll do another regen. And then as soon as that regen comes off. Like so, I think it's the dome regen that does 10% less damage to everyone, and then like Fizzes is like 90 seconds, and that move is 30. So you can like fit in like 2 between then, and then you can do it again together. So I think that's pretty cool. Holos is a weird skill. You only really do it like it has a 10%. It's separate from the other 10%, so like the damage dampeners. It's separate from them, but like you're not gonna like. Why would you cast it before like after the damage? It heals, but you want to cast it like before anything happens. So you're missing out on a heal to potentially heal people up from that. But that's like, well, that's why you have a cold healer. So, but the fact that it has a heal on that is kind of weird. So there's a lot of weird things about it, but it's still a lot of fun to play. I would recommend it to people, and that is my tier list. So again, this was like almost a 2 hour video I did on this. It's like 2 a.m. I'm talking about this. I know there's a lot of spots that I ranted about things. Ultimately, this is a not really a guide or like insight on the game so much. It's just like how I perceived how the game is played and how much fun I have from it. Um, I do say do your own research, and the truth is out there. So maybe like Monk is actually on where the blue mage spell is, and then the blue mage is not supposed to be there where it's supposed to be. But yeah, this is these classes from top to bottom the most fun and then the least fun I had. I think the ones at the bottom could use a lot of love, and I want them to see a lot of love. And I feel like the ones at the top, like they're just they're just really good. Aside from the minor gripes that I had about it, but even so, like it doesn't really break the class and the flow of it. And thank you for watching my fucking rant on the game and the state of the game, and at least how I see it from my room, my tiny room where I live, and from my streams. I really enjoy playing the game, and I'm going to continue to do so. Honestly, I'm going to be here till probably the game turns off, so we can see how much has changed. I'll probably make another tier list by the next expansion to see if I can get everything up to level like 99, if it's 99 or 100. So I think it's going to stop at 99. So if it goes up to like 110, that would be kind of crazy. But I think it's going to stop at 99, and then everything else is going to be gear. But we'll see. I don't think it's going to go up to like, what is it now? Like, because we got 10 years left, so it's like what, 4 expansions. So it's like 100, 110, 120, 130. Like it's gonna go like we're gonna have dungeons like expert roulette 130, and then we're gonna have dungeons 50 through 120. Like we're gonna have that like, oh, it's gonna be like separate dungeons. It's gonna be expert where it's a 130 dungeons, and then it's like 120 dungeons, and then it's gonna be 50 to 110 dungeons. Like I don't think it's gonna be like that, Chief. So I don't know. If it is, then holy fuck. But only time will tell. Anyway, that's my rant. That's my thing. You can subscribe to me here if you're new here. I'm sorry that the video is very long. I just wanted to make it. Um, I'm not gonna edit most of it. It's gonna be pretty raw. So sorry. But yeah, I hope you have a good day. Again, you can follow me. You can check out the links down below. You can follow me. You can check out the Blue Mage links that I have to my. It's not really a Blue Mage guide, but it's like how I leveled it from those levels, and I have it from 50 to 60 and 60 to 70, and it only goes up to 70 now. I'll make another video when it goes up to 80, but I also have that chick's Unmend video with the Unmend My Life about talking about Dark Knight. I have that in there too. But yeah, I'll see you guys later. Bye.